Windows crashed live on CNN. Bill Gates was presenting, cameras rolling, millions watching. The blue screen of death appeared. Gates smiled and kept going. That screen has existed since 1985. It still exists today. 12 versions, 40 years. Some were so bad people paid money to remove them. One was so good hospitals refused to stop using it 13 years after Microsoft begged them to. This is the full history. 1985, Windows 1.0. Before this, no pictures, just a black screen and a blinking cursor. Want to open a file? Type the command manually. Every single time, no exceptions. Welcome to computing. Microsoft's big idea for Windows 1.0, icons. That's it. The entire revolution was the ability to click a mouse. Except the mouse in 1985 cost half a month's salary. Great timing, Microsoft. Windows 1.0 had another problem. Windows couldn't overlap. They just sat next to each other like soldiers on parade. No minimize, no maximize, and it crashed constantly with a blue screen. In 1985, year one, the blue screen of death was born in Windows 1.0. That was 40 years ago. It is still in Windows 11 today. Some bugs are features. Microsoft has decided this is one of them. 1987. Windows 2.0. Finally, overlapping windows. Word and Excel appeared. Office workers could actually work on a computer. And then Apple sued Microsoft. Claimed overlapping windows was their idea, stolen from Macintosh. The lawsuit lasted years. Microsoft won. Here's why it's hilarious. Apple had literally asked Microsoft to build Word and Excel for Macintosh. They worked together. Microsoft legally used Apple's ideas. Then Windows got more popular than Mac. Suddenly, Apple remembered the lawsuit. 1990, Windows 3.0. The first version people actually loved. Color interface. Intel 386 support. Heavy programs finally ran. Computers started appearing in homes, not just offices. 2 years later, Windows 3.1 added one thing that changed everything. Drag and drop. Move a file anywhere you want. Sounds obvious now. In 1992, it was magic. Regular people, not engineers, not programmers, wanted a personal computer for the first time. One gesture did that. 1995. Windows 95. This wasn't an update. This was a cultural event. People lined up outside stores at midnight. The Start button appeared for the first time. The taskbar. Everything in one place. Before this, finding a program was a treasure hunt. Plug and play arrived with Windows 95. Connect a device. The computer recognizes it automatically. Before this, installing a printer took an hour minimum. For a regular person, basically impossible. Windows 95 made computers human. Windows 95 also brought Internet Explorer. The internet became available to everyone. Available, but Explorer crashed so often that people genuinely thought maybe the internet just isn't ready yet. The internet was ready. Explorer was not. 1998, Windows 98. Internet stopped crashing every 5 minutes. But the real gift? USB. Before Windows 98, every single device had its own separate port. Mouse, one connector. Printer, another. Keyboard, a third. Cables everywhere. Windows 98 said enough. One port for everything. USB. Obviously correct, obviously overdue. In 1998, this was considered genuinely revolutionary. Windows 98 also added dual monitor support. Designers and gamers finally exhaled. Then came the CNN moment. Bill Gates, live on CNN, demonstrating Windows 98 to millions of viewers. A colleague plugs in a scanner. The blue screen of death appears immediately. Gates smiles, says, "That must be why we haven't shipped the final version yet." The crowd laughed. Gates did not laugh on the inside. 2000, Windows ME, Millennium Edition. Meet the officially worst Windows version ever made. Open a program, computer freezes. Sometimes it just crashes. No warning, no reason. ME added System Restore, a brilliant feature that would roll back problems, except System Restore itself broke constantly. People called it Mistake Edition, not Millennium Edition, Mistake Edition. Every person who used ME has a story. None of those stories are positive. ME was so bad it made the next version feel like moving from a condemned building into a penthouse. 2001, Windows XP, green hills on the desktop, fast boot, stable operation. After ME, this felt like a different company made it. XP ran on Windows NT, a completely new kernel. Previous versions still drag code from MS-DOS 1981 into every session. XP finally cut that rope. XP was so good people refused to leave. When Microsoft ended support in 2014, 13 years after release, 1/3 of all computers on Earth still ran XP. Banks, hospitals, airports, AT-MIS, XP simply would not die. Microsoft eventually had to beg. 2007, Windows Vista, beautiful arrow interface, transparent windows, 3D animations when switching apps. Looked incredible. But to run all of this, you needed a computer that cost a fortune. On normal hardware, Vista just stuttered. Pretty and completely useless. Vista also introduced UAC, User Account Control. Every time any program wanted to do anything, a pop-up appeared. Do you allow this? Installing a browser, do you allow? Opening a file, do you allow? Breathing near the computer, do you allow? People lost their minds. Vista became a synonym for slow. Laptop manufacturers secretly kept installing XP on new machines. Official label said Vista. Real OS was XP. Buyers knew. Sellers knew. Everyone pretended everything was fine. Classic corporate denial. 2009, Windows 7. Microsoft admitted Vista's mistakes and fixed almost all of them. Arrow design stayed, the slowness left. Added instant file search. Added snap. Drag a window to the screen edge and it fills exactly half. Simple idea. Nobody had done it before. Windows 7 became the most beloved version in Microsoft history. When end of support arrived in 2020, same story as XP, people refused to upgrade. Corporations paid Microsoft for extended support. Some are still paying today. Windows 7 had earned that loyalty. 2012, Windows 8. Everything Microsoft had built in reputation over decades. Spent here. They removed the Start button. Completely. Gone. Replaced it with a live tile screen designed for touchscreens. On a desktop computer with a mouse and keyboard. To find an app, you scrolled right. Horizontally on a desktop. In 2012. The person who approved this decision still works in tech. Nobody was fired. That fact is somehow more disturbing than Windows 8 itself. Microsoft released a fix 1 year later. Windows 8.1 brought back the Start button. People calmed down slightly, but the damage was done. Windows 8 sits permanently in the worst Windows versions list, alongside ME and Vista. 3 disasters in 30 years. And then people noticed a pattern. Bad version, good version, bad version, good version. Windows 1, bad. Windows 2, better. Vista, disaster. Windows 7, masterpiece. Windows 8, disaster. The pattern predicted what came next. 2015, Windows 10, pattern confirmed. Start button returned. Normal this time. Virtual desktops. Task view. See all open windows instantly. Microsoft gave away upgrades free for an entire year. 1 full year. To make everyone forget Windows 8 existed. Microsoft called Windows 10 the last version of Windows. An update forever. No new major versions. That was 2015. Support officially ended October 2025. So Windows 10 wasn't forever after all. Unexpected, very on brand. But Windows 10 had its own problem: forced restarts. Working on an important document, not saved, and the computer decides, now is a great time to update. Restart. Everything gone. This became a real internet meme. Collective suffering creates community. The update progress bar that froze at 34%. 1 hour, 2 hours. Then the computer restarted and started again from zero. People photographed their screens and posted them online. Microsoft never apologized. The updates continued. 2021. Windows 11. Visually similar to Windows 10. Main difference, the Start button moved to the center of the taskbar. Like Mac, people immediately noticed. Half were furious, half adapted. Most simply didn't upgrade. In 2024, Windows 10 was still the most used version. Windows 11 added snap layouts. Hover over the Maximize button and see layout options for arranging windows. Useful for working with multiple documents simultaneously. File Explorer finally got tabs. In 2021, only 36 years after Microsoft first needed them. Here's the full pattern laid out cleanly. Windows 1, bad. 2, better. 3, great. 95, revolution. 98, improvement. ME, catastrophe. XP, legend. Vista, disappointment. 7, masterpiece. 8, disaster. 10, solid. 11, unclear. Every bad version taught Microsoft something critical. ME proved stability beats features every time. Vista proved beautiful and slow is worse than ugly and fast. Windows 8 proved never break what people already know. Never, without exception. And every good version took the best ideas from the previous disaster and removed the worst parts. XP took ME's ideas and threw out the instability. Windows 7 took Vista's design and removed the performance problems. Windows 10 took Windows 8's features and gave back the normal interface. Microsoft is now pushing AI hard into Windows. Copilot is built directly into the system. Search, writing, image generation, all inside the operating system. Sounds like the next revolution. Or, according to the pattern, the next disaster. Windows 11 should be good by pattern logic. After the disaster of Windows 8 came excellent Windows 10. After the controversial Windows 11, Windows 12 should be a masterpiece, or the pattern finally breaks. 40 years of evidence says it won't break. 1.4 billion devices. Every second computer on the planet runs Windows. 40 years of blue screens, forced updates, unexpected restarts, and people keep coming back. Not because Windows is perfect, nobody claims that, not even Microsoft. People come back because Windows runs games, opens Excel, prints documents, connects to every printer ever made, supports every piece of software ever written, sometimes crashes, always restarts, gets back up. That consistency, even when it's consistently imperfect, is worth something. Think about what you just learned. In 1985, there were no icons on a computer screen. A mouse was a luxury item. Opening a file required memorizing a command. 40 years later, you unlock your computer with your face, and an AI writes your emails. Windows was there for every single step of that. The good steps and the painful ones. Windows 95 brought the internet to regular people. XP made computers stable enough for hospitals. Windows 7 made working on a computer genuinely enjoyable for the first time. Even the disasters moved things forward. ME forced Microsoft to build a new kernel. Vista forced them to care about performance again. Windows 8 forced them to respect that users don't want to relearn everything every 3 years. Pain is a teacher. Microsoft has had many teachers. The blue screen of death appeared in Windows 1.0 in 1985. It appeared in Windows 98 during a live CNN broadcast with Bill Gates watching. It has appeared on screens at airports, hospitals, stock exchanges, and probably nuclear facilities. It is still in Windows 11 today, unchanged, eternal. Some things survive everything. The blue screen survives because Windows survives. And Windows survives because once you build 1.4 billion devices around something, it stops being software. It becomes infrastructure. Infrastructure doesn't get replaced, it gets patched forever. So, which version are you still using? Drop it in the comments. And if you want to see the same breakdown for every macOS version, including the one Apple tried to delete from history, subscribe. That video is next.